So, hi class. I hope everyone's doing fine. First things first, welcome again sa inyong SSO for Introduction to the Philosophy of the Human Person. So, for our week one discussion, we'll focus on doing philosophy, and our topics include the following: definition of philosophy, beginnings of doing philosophy, and approaches in doing philosophy. Our objectives for this lecture include defining what philosophy is, evaluating the ideas of early philosophers, and understanding the approach of, or approaches rather, in philosophy. So, what is philosophy? Philosophy came from the Greek words philos, which means love, and Sophia, which means wisdom or human reason. As such, people consider philosophy as the love of wisdom. However, it should be noted that one of the biggest problems in philosophy is its definition itself. Say, balikan natin yung definition dito. Philosophy, ayan, sorry. Philosophy is the love of wisdom. So tingin nyo, is that particular definition concrete? Is it clear? Is it precise? Or are the words that form that particular definition seem to be very broad, especially from a scientific point of view? Malino ba sa atin yung definition ng word na love? Pag sinabi natin love, feelings lang ba agad yun? Pag sinabi ng wisdom, is it knowledge only? What I'm trying to tell you here is that yung definition natin philosophy dito is something that's very questionable. Hence, when it comes to fully understanding what philosophy is, dapat unahin nating linawin kung ano nga ba yung definition ng philosophy na magagamit natin in our daily lives. So, with that, bago natin pag-usapan yun, when we talk about definitions, merong dalawang bahagi laging isang definition. Those two parts include the definendum, that which is being defined, or that which is defined, yun yung actual na word na gustong i-define. And definens, that does the define. Ibig sabihin, ito yung nagde-define. Okay, ito yung nagde-describe, nag-explain do sa word or concept na gusto nating i-define, the definendum. So, example dito, a student, siya yung definendum, is a human who goes to school. Yung a human who goes to school, yun yung kaya nagsisilbing definendum. So, when we talk about defining, there are rules for evaluating and constructing definitions. First and foremost, pag nagsasagwa tayo or nagko-construct tayo ng isang definition, a definition provides both necessary and sufficient conditions for applying a term. Dapat, una sa lahat, yung nakapaloob ng mga salita sa isang definition, ito yung mga necessary or kailangan sufficient, sapat, para mabuo yung ideya ng isang konsepto na gusto natin ipaliwanag. Dapat, sa lahat, hindi siya narrow or hindi siya hindi kulang yung data or words na nagbubuo sa definition, and at the same time, hindi naman sobrang lawak. In this case, yung example dito, there are humans that also go to school but are not students. Sobrang daming gustong sabihin ng word pero hindi malinaw kung anong gusto niya or nais niyang iparating. Number two, definitions, so ito yung, again, phrase na nagde-define sa concept, will include both a genus and a differentia. Pag sinabi natin genus, it's the broader class to which a defined concept belongs. So, in the case of philosophy, pwede natin consider as a social science. So, ang example natin dito, such as mages, yan, are students. So, kayo, MCL, Senior High School Mages, kayo ay kabilang sa genus or broader class na students, then the differentia is the feature that sets the defined concept apart from other members of its genus. Ibig sabihin, ito yung defining factor, nagpapaiba sa inyo dun sa broader class na kinabibilangan or genus na kinabibilangan nyo. In this case, the differentia is Malayan Colleges Laguna. Kaya differentia, differentiating factor dun sa definition. In addition, meron siyang specific essential characteristic. Ito yung right characteristics that makes something belong to a certain concept. Ito yung mga bagay or specific features na meron ng isang definition na para lang sa kanya. So, In the case of senior high school students ng MCL, sila ay tinuturing na mages. O pwedeng sila ay, kaya sila undefined, ang essential characteristic is number 1, dapat enrolled ka sa MCL. Next is that definitions ought to avoid metaphor and obscurity. Ibig sabihin, dapat hindi siya malabo, hindi siya vague, hindi ambiguous. As such, unclear or ambiguous words in the definition, or the phrase that defines the definendum, which at times doesn't make sense in the actual definition. Tagal natin masalita na hindi naman nagbibigay ng clarity or nagbibigay lang ng a certain sense of metaphor na hindi naman talaga kailangan dun sa actual na statement. Para ito, sa LDAR. Yes, metaphor na MCL? No, hindi siya part. Okay. Then we have definitions ought to avoid circularity. Pag sinabi natin circularity, yung sagot dun sa definition or yung pagpapaliwanag mo sa definition ay yun ding actual na sagot mismo. Para mas madaling maintindihan, so definitions ought to avoid circularity. Example natin, philosophy is the love of wisdom, and wisdom here means intelligence. So, ang definition natin ng philosophy is the love of wisdom. At nung tinanong natin kung anong wisdom, naghanap na siya ng synonym. Wisdom, which is intelligence. Ibig sabihin, umikot lang ulit tayo. Hindi naman talaga natin napalalim yung ibig sabihin ng love of wisdom or yung wisdom per se. Binigyan lang natin siya ng ibang salita. Then, definitions ought as much as possible to avoid negative definitions. Ibig sabihin, huwag ka magde-define ng isang bagay ng mga salita or gamit mga salita na taliwas sa kanya kasi hindi mo siya dinedefine. Dinidifferentiate mo lang talaga siya. Halimbawa, ang question natin, who is God? Example dito, God is not boastful God, not even an envious God. It's basically a negative definition. Hindi mo talaga sinasagot yung tanong na who is God, sinasabi mo lang kung ano yung hindi siya. Opening the possibility ng lahat ng hindi siya, yun. Sadly, hindi siya clear and concise. And it can promote ambiguity. Something na dapat nating iwasan when it comes to definitions. So, to be clear, in learning philosophy, pati ko nga ba sinabi yung 6 na characteristics na yun, or rules in constructing definitions, we must first be clear on what philosophy means bago natin pag-aralan ito. At kumanap ako ng magandang example, when we talk about philosophy, ayon sa Encyclopedia Britannica, aside from being the love of wisdom, it's the rational, human reason, abstract, and methodical consideration of reality as a whole. Ibig sabihin, ito yung pagninilay-nilay gamit ang kaisipan, gamit ang kamalayan, at gamit ang iba't ibang metodo sa paghahanap ng kasagutan ng kabuuan ng realidad or of fundamental dimensions of human existence and experience. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang yung totality ng mundo yung gusto mong pag-aralan, pwede din na yung mga minute experiences ng bawat tao, pwedeng yun yung maging focus ng iyong pag-aaral. Kung anong ibig sabihin ng pagmamahal, bakit siya nagkaroon ng kaibigan, anong ibig sabihin ng friendship, anong ibig sabihin ng true love, anong ibig sabihin ng kasawian, anong ibig sabihin, anong purpose rather ng buhay ko, such and such. Long story short, ang gusto lang natin sabihin sa first part na yun is, gusto natin linawin when it comes to philosophy, well, yes, philosophy is the love of wisdom. If we want to use philosophy as our lens in understanding the reality, dapat magkaroon tayo ng definitive definition para magkaroon ng pragmatic or practical use yung philosophy sa buhay natin. And gaya ng sinabi ko sa inyo, in our case, if we are to use philosophy in our daily lives, gagamitin natin to as a means, as a lens, para mas malalim pa nating maunawaan. Mas matuto tayong intindihin ang mga bagay-bagay bago natin to tanggapin as something that's valid or something that is truthful. So, with that, tapos na yung ating first part. So, sa next video, we'll focus on the second part, which is beginnings of doing philosophy.